You've heard me say this plenty of times, and you're going to continue to hear me say it because it means so much truth. Motivation gets you started, but discipline keeps you going. My friends, if you want to be successful on your health and fitness journey, whether you want to lose body fat, whether you want to build muscle, whether you want to boost your metabolism, increase your testosterone levels, whatever your health and fitness goals are, you need to make sure that you are staying disciplined. And it's very hard to do that in today's society because we lack what's called focus. If you think about it, there's so many different things out there, right, that suck our attention, right? And it's this fancy, shiny new object. And we feel like we're missing out. We feel like, oh man, as long as we do that diet or buy that new fitness equipment, right? Remember like Peloton when that first thing came about, right? Like everybody was, oh, I need a Peloton. Oh, I need a Peloton. And it's the same of any old cycling bike, honestly. It's just a fancy name and it looks all premium. But yet we think, oh, when we have that, we're going to get in the best shape of our lives. So remember, it doesn't matter if it's the next latest, greatest diet or the next fancy supplement that's out there or the next, workout gizmo that's out there. We should not be suckered in and brainwashed into the fancy, shiny object because all it does, it takes us off course. Guys, when it comes to reaching your health and fitness goals, it's simple. And we're going to go over 7 tips here to really help you out just to make sure that the path that you're on, you're staying true to it. You're staying disciplined. Because at the end of the day, anything that's going to get you off course, it's a distraction. And I don't want you to be distracted. I want you to reach your health and fitness goals. Now, keep this in mind. The 7 key tips that we're going to go over, this is only to provide some aid, a quick little solution just to kind of help you. And you should really be focusing on these 7 tips that we're going to go over because there's going to be some curveballs. And we're going to go over that here in a little bit. Anytime that you're progressing on your health and fitness journey, just be aware, my friends, life's going to throw you some curveballs, and we're going to dive into that here. But the first thing, right, the first tip that you need in order to stay disciplined, in order to stay consistent with your health and fitness journey and stay on the right track, you need to have a strong why, a deep-rooted why. If let's just say your goal is to lose 20 pounds, well, hey, that's great, but at the end of the day, if let's say it's a cold winter day, like over here in Cleveland, Ohio, and you have a bunch of snow on your, car and you're waking up in the morning and you got to go out there to brush the snow off, like that's not fun by any means, right? It sure isn't for me. But when you have a deep-rooted why, a strong why, like let's say, hey, you want to be a better role model for your children, or you want to get off your medications, or you want to live longer, or whatever the case may be, whatever your strong why is, that's the first thing that you need that's going to get your butt outside first thing in the morning and start brushing the snow off your car, okay? It's that strong, rooted, deep why. And that's the first thing that you need in order to have discipline on your health and fitness journey. Remember, these key tips, this is what's going to help you, what I like to say, build consistency. And that's what you need at the end of the day. The second tip is to start small and build consistency, right? At the end of the day, we're talking all about discipline, but think about it like this. Back in the day when you first learned to, let's just say, ride a bike, it's not like you immediately were 3, maybe 4 years old, put on your helmet, and all of a sudden, like, you're doing backflips off these ramps and, like, going down a hill like 100 miles per hour. Of course not, right? You started off probably in your driveway. In fact, you probably start off with the training wheels. But yet, as we get older, we instantly feel like, oh man, we should be a lot farther on our health and fitness journey. We should be, over here, especially if we're just getting started. And that, my friends, gives you what I like to say, false expectations, which is one of the number one killers on somebody's health and fitness journey, these expectations that we give ourselves. It's like, oh, I should be expecting to lose X amount of weight this week, or I should be expecting to see visible abs, at this stage in my health and fitness journey right now. These expectations can really hurt us. But remember, we're just trying to build discipline here. So start small, and just focus on consistency over time. Nobody becomes a master overnight. But sure enough, as long as you're consistent and you're starting small, those little habits that you're building upon, whether it's tracking your macros and always hitting your protein target, whether it's, going to the gym and focusing on progressive overload, whether it's drinking more water, getting plenty of sleep, start small. For example, like one of our habits that we like to go over is, drinking plenty of water. We recommend our members have at least, a gallon of water a day. Might seem like a lot, but at the end of the day, your body's over 65% water. right? Water, hydration, helps with what's called lipolysis, your body's process of metabolizing body fats. Not only that, but your organs need water, your muscles need water. Long story short, you should be drinking plenty of water. But think about it. If somebody's just starting off with drinking maybe like 2 or 3 or 4 cups of water a day, right? Maybe like 6 ounces, like barely anything. And we immediately just threw a gallon of water in their face and say, hey, start chugging this. That ain't going to work. That's not going to be sustainable for them. So instead, hey, we start small. Maybe we can start progressing to like, I don't know, a quarter of a gallon of water, and then half a gallon, and then 3/4. And then eventually, when the time is right, we can progress all the way to 1 gallon of water. So just keep that in mind. The second key tip is to start small and then slowly start building up consistency. Remember, who wins the race at the end of the day? The turtle or the hare? Now, the third tip is to have a structured plan in place. Personally, you should be having a personalized plan, one that is suitable for, let's just say, your body type, and I'll explain that here in a little bit, your lifestyle, and I'll explain that here in a little bit, but most importantly, that's in alignment with your health and fitness goals. So let's first talk about your body type. I don't mean an ectomorph or an endomorph or a mesomorph. Like, these things are going to confuse you, like what we always talk about inside of our coaching program is KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. Okay? You need to abide by that, trust me, in any of your goals, because the easier it is, the more simple it is, the more consistent you will be, plain and simple, okay? So when I'm talking about body type, I mean going off of, any kind of injuries or limitations or likes and dislikes. So for example, I'll talk about myself right now. I have a shoulder injury, so I'm not doing a lot of like shoulder movements. I don't want to re-injure myself. I don't want to risk it for the biscuit, what I like to say. So me right now, in my stage of my workout journey and my fitness journey, I'm not doing anything much for my shoulder because I don't want to re-injure it. That's what I mean for your body type. So if let's just say like you have a bad back, somebody similar to myself, I don't do squats and I don't do deadlifts. Sure, they're the best exercises in the world to lose fat and build muscle, and they're compound lifts, and you're big old macho and manly in the gym lifting up the heavy barbell. I don't care. Plain and simple. I'm 32 years old, right? You think I'm trying to re-injure my back every single week in the gym deadlifting and squatting? How do you think I'm going to feel by the time I'm 70? I'm trying to avoid back surgery, not make it a lot easier for me to be on that path to getting surgery. That's what I mean by your body type, okay? So if let's say you have bad knees, I wouldn't recommend doing squats or lunges or out there running laps, Like, don't do the things that aren't enjoyable, that aren't sustainable, that's going to re-injure you. That's what I mean by your body type, but also your lifestyle too. And so what does that mean, right? Let's just go off your schedule. If let's just say you can't make it to the gym because of the commute, or every time you go to the gym, it's way too chaotic and busy there. Like, I wouldn't put it up on a pedestal saying, oh, I need to go to the gym. I would much rather you, right, do some simple stuff at home with or without equipment that's more flexible for your schedule. And maybe that's just like 3 or 4 20-minute workouts. It's like, hey, that's a lot better than, eventually trying our hardest to go to the gym. It's not working in our favor. We're getting upset because we can't get on a piece of workout equipment or whatever the case may be. And next thing you know, it's like we're driving all the way to the gym. We're wasting time away from our families, which is a priority. Once again, right? That's what I mean by your lifestyle. What do you think is going to be more consistent for you at the end of the day? Trying your best to go to the gym and, waste a bunch of time away from your family and, sure, you're going to get a workout in, but it's like, think about all the things that you're leaving behind. Or, hey, why don't you just work out with your kids, right? Or go for a walk with your family or do some push-ups and sit-ups at home where, granted, yeah, you don't have all the fancy tools and equipment like you do in a gym, but regardless, both paths eventually lead to Rome. One might take longer than the other, but hey, this is why you want to make sure that you're just enjoying the process, treating this like a marathon rather than a sprint. So at the end of the day, you need to make sure that you're following a plan that's structured for you, for your body type, for your lifestyle, and also in alignment with your goals. If let's just say your goal is to lose, 20 pounds, I think that's great, but at the end of the day, like, is it just going to be cutting out your carbohydrates and losing water weight? Because that might not be sustainable for you. So I would focus on a plan that's going to be in alignment with your health and fitness goals, that's also sustainable for your body type, your lifestyle, and it's flexible. It's something where you know you're on the right path and you can maintain that success long term. I know plenty of guys that cut out their carbs, sugar, alcohol. They'll have those quick wins with the number on the scale going down, but eventually they fall off track and regain all that weight right back because it's not sustainable. I don't want that to be you. So I recommend, hey, you focus on a plan that's just more structured for your lifestyle and once again in alignment with your goals. Now, the fourth key point is so important, and that is to leverage accountability. You need to make sure that you're surrounding yourself with the right people that's going to hold you accountable. Hear me out. It's a two-way street, okay? One, if you ever just are doing anything by yourself, it's obviously a lot harder. I mean, think about it like going out to war all by yourself with a small little pistol. How successful are you going to be compared to like this huge big army? Like, you're not going to be successful at all. Now, if let's say you have a bunch of brothers in arms, they're fighting that battle with you, supporting you. One, you're going to feel more confident going out there to war. But also second, like, you're going to have guys there to support you. You're going to have guys there that has your back, plain and simple. So if let's just say you're on your health and fitness journey and you find yourself always falling off track because maybe on the weekends, right, you go out to eat or, whatever the case may be, your urges, your cravings, all these different things are just tempting you and you easily fall into peer pressure, whatever, struggles that you may be facing, having the right people there to hold you accountable, once again, helps you stay on track. Also, if let's just say you fall off track, which, hey, it happens, right? It happens to me plenty of times. Having guys in your corner to just say, hey, bro, like, where you been at? Like, get back in the gym or get back to tracking your macros. It's that friendly reminder that I think we all need, right? Is knowing that, hey, guys aren't here to judge us. Guys are actually here to support us on that journey because we're all trying to do the same. And that's become the best versions of ourselves, for our family, for our loved ones, for our community, for our churches, for our neighborhoods. And that's it, right? We're all just trying to fill up our cups so that we can be more of an asset and pour more out in others rather than a liability. Plain and simple, okay? Accountability helps so much, but also it challenges you. Albert Einstein said it best. The definition of insanity is doing the same things over and over again and expecting different results. If let's say nobody's challenging you there, like nobody's really kind of guiding you and pushing you to that next stage, eventually you're going to hit a stall. And guess what? You're not going to see the results that you want. So instead of constantly doing the same workouts or the same routine or the same, macros or the same meal plan, it's like get some guys that really want nothing but the best for you. And they're going to push you. If let's say you're only, bench pressing 150 pounds, get some dudes in there that's going to inspire you to start lifting 200 pounds. And guess what? You're probably going to fail at it the first couple times. But sure enough, like having your brothers in arms to continue to challenge you, continue to motivate you, to continue to encourage you, eventually you're going to be able to lift up those 200 pounds. Why? Accountability. Now, the fifth key tip is such a golden nugget, so you want to make sure to pay close attention, and that is utilize your setbacks as lessons. You got to change the perspective, and I say this all the time. New levels equal new devils. Especially on your health and fitness journey, you're going to be going through some storms. You're going to be going through some curveballs. That's the inevitable. Nobody is there to predict them. Nobody there wants them to happen. But guess what, guys? This is life. It's never going to be this easy, walk in the park. There's going to be plenty of challenges. On your health and fitness journey, that might be like unexpected travels. That might be deaths in the family. That might be, who knows, injuries and sicknesses and illnesses and, like all these different things that, once again, we don't plan for. We don't want them to happen, but they're gonna happen. Now, instead of looking at the glass being like half empty, we got to change the perspective and look at the glass being half full. And I get it, right? That's a lot easier said than done because if you're somebody that's going through a challenge or adversity right now, you're in the trenches. It's hard to see it from a bigger picture, but you need to, because here's the reason why, okay? When it comes to your health and fitness journey, we always say it like this: trust the process. You got to have faith. Even when life is throwing you curveballs, like you never know if it's actually preparing you for something better or testing you or challenging you to help you grow. You go to the gym, you work out, right? Which means you're breaking down the muscle. And sure enough, through the recovery, you're building it up stronger. So maybe these challenges in life that we have to overcome on our health and fitness journey, it's actually making us stronger at the end of the day. Steve Jobs said it best. You can't connect the dots looking forward in life, but you can always connect the dots looking backwards in life. So flip the switch. Once again, utilize, right, your mindset as a tool to really help you overcome life's challenges on your health and fitness journey. If you think about an arrow, right, the farther you pull it back, the farther it's going to go forward. If you think about a bouncy ball, the harder you slam it down to the ground, the higher it's going to bounce up. If you think about climbing a mountain, right, they say, the harder the climb, the better the view at the top. So if everybody, right, in America, in this world, right, had an easy path to reaching their health and fitness goals, everybody would be in shape. But guess what? Over 50% of Americans are overweight, right? And 1/4 of men over 40 struggle with high blood pressure. Let that sink in, right? Let that sink in. It's not supposed to be easy. But at the end of the day, hey, you're bred different. Pressure builds diamonds. And what you need to keep in mind, right, is that this right here is the most strongest muscle on your body, your mindset. It's going to help you persevere. It's going to help you stay disciplined. It's going to help you overcome those challenges. So that way, hey, you don't take it off and throw in the towel and just quit way too soon and be just like everybody else, fat, lazy, and out of shape, sit on the couch, right, with Dorito dust all over your shirt. It's like, no, hey, I injured my arm, but what can I do instead? Can I go for a walk? Yes. Okay, cool. It's like, oh, I'm sick right now, so maybe I can't work out, but hey, maybe I can focus more on my mindset. Maybe I can focus more on the nutrition aspect. It's like, oh, some things happen with traveling and I'm out of my routine and I can't go to the gym anymore. Well, it's like, okay, hey, let's still get some steps and do some push-ups or some body weight workouts. Remember, the name of the game with this one is treat your life almost, right, as a fighter, because you are. And I don't want you to get knocked out by the arena of life. I want to make sure that you're rolling with the punches, right? And when there's an opportunity, hey, you're still attacking. Plain and simple. Now, there's going to be some times where, hey, your back's up against the ropes and you're covering, and that's okay. There's other times where you're not defending yourself and, you're not throwing punches right back, but guess what? You're still moving. Whatever you can do to continue to move forward, 1% better each and every day, that's what's going to help you eventually reach your goals. But as you look back, you're going to realize that some of those challenges that you actually had to overcome in your life was actually preparing you for these new things ahead of you, or it was teaching you a lesson so that way you can be a better asset to others on their journey as well. Think about that. Now, number 6 is probably one of my favorites, and that is to have a list of non-negotiables. At Heartletics, we like to say fat loss habits, but regardless, whether it's the 7 fat loss habits that we focus on, or it's just a list of maybe 2 or 3 non-negotiables, which means despite everything that happens, you have a list of non-negotiables that you're still going to do. A few of them for me, right, is make sure I'm getting plenty of steps in. Like, that's a non-negotiable. No matter where I'm at, whether I'm traveling, whether I'm doing something somewhere else, right, and I can't make it to the gym, I can still move my body. And for all those guys that say, yeah, but Joe, I can't go for a walk outside, who's to say you can't stand up at work and just literally bounce around in place or move your feet left and right? Or who's to say, hey, coming home from work after 12 hours or however long you work, and you're going to sit there anyways and watch TV, might as well just stand up and watch TV and bounce in place. So, that's one of my non-negotiables, is getting plenty of steps in. Another one is always hitting my protein. Always. I make it so simple for myself to hit my macros. But then again, it's like, hey, I'm a creature of habit. I built up enough discipline, I built up enough consistency where I know even if I'm traveling or going out to eat at a restaurant, I know how to be mindful. I know what options to choose from. And this is kind of like, the knowledge that we help and coach our members with at Heartletics. And if you guys want any information about that, we have a completely free fat loss training guide on how we help out our members with a step-by-step plan that you can implement as well on your fat loss journey. And if you want access to that, if you're watching this on YouTube, it's clicking on the description box down below. You'll see it in the very first link. Some other non-negotiables for me, now this is working on some other pillars, not just the physical health, but more so spiritual. And that's always reading the Bible. At least 15 minutes every single day reading the Bible, non-negotiable. Praying, non-negotiable. Meditating, non-negotiable. Journaling, non-negotiable. I know that if I want to be the best version of myself, it's not just 100% in on my health and fitness goals, the physical. There's 4 pillars, right, of essential your well-being. And that's your physical, your mental, your emotional, and your spiritual. So some of my non-negotiables, they fill up other categories, not just my physical one. So whatever you have for your non-negotiables, make sure that it's just tied to, once again, your goals. Whatever your goals are, you got to make sure to give yourself a list of non-negotiables. And I like to say it like this, make sure it's just like maybe 2 or 3. It does not have to be 7 of the essential fat loss habits that we help our members with. Make it smaller. right? Give yourself, once again, 2 or 3 non-negotiables. So despite anything else that goes your way or curveballs or storms, you can always focus on those non-negotiables. You can always be consistent with it because at the end of the day, hey, this video is all about helping you with tips on how to stay more disciplined because motivation gets you started. Discipline keeps you going, and that's what's going to be successful on your health and fitness journey. And the 7th and final tip to help you master discipline is to reward yourself along the way. And this is why I hate diets. I hate strict plans. They're not sustainable. And they actually, instead of rewarding you, it almost makes it harder to continue on that diet or continue on that restrictive plan because you never have an opportunity to reward yourself. One of the foundations when it comes to our nutritional advice that we coach our members on is what's called the 80-20 principle, where 80% of the time they're hitting their macros, they're sticking within the calories, they're eating all healthy, wholesome foods, but 20% of the time they're having their sanity foods. For me, it's donuts. I'm a donut connoisseur. So at the end of the day, it's like, hey, if I crushed it with my workouts, if I hit my macros every single day, typically on Saturday or Sunday mornings after church, hey, me and the family, we like going to the donut shop. We like getting some donuts. I love it. It is such a rewarding treat, Plus, it's like quality time with my family. There's nothing better than walking into a donut shop and it's fresh smelling donuts. It's the best. But once again, whatever floats your boat. Maybe it's for you, right? Some alcohol, or maybe it's, some other meal or tacos or whatever the case may be, but you got to learn how to reward yourself. Because if you don't, you're just going to be super strict. You're going to be very religious, right? And tedious on your health and fitness journey, which, hey, I like to say it like this. Anybody can do anything when life is easy, but that's not life. Remember, life's going to throw us curveballs. And typically when these curveballs hit us and we're following a super strict plan, it's very easy to fall off track. So remember, if you want to stay disciplined, start rewarding yourself. Maybe that's like going and get a nice cheat meal in on the weekends or something like that because you were consistent, throughout the course of the week. Or maybe it's, an alcoholic beverage or a donut or some ice cream or whatever the case may be. Whatever, once again, going to help you. So that way it's just like, hey, maybe Sunday, it's like you decide to have one good cheat meal where you splurge a little bit. But at the end of the day, it's like, hey, maybe you're still, doing a good job with hitting your protein. Everything's in alignment with your, calories. That's even better. But maybe that little cheat meal, it kind of resets everything. Not even physically, but most importantly, mentally. So that way Monday, you hit it back again strong. I mean, think about it like this, right? Let's just say rewarding yourself is kind of like recharging your batteries of a cell phone. That cell phone is a tool, right? You can use it to, look stuff up on the internet. You can use it to, Google things and go on YouTube. You can social media. You can call a friend. You can text people. But how useful is that cell phone if, let's just say, the batteries die? You can't do any of that stuff, right? So let that sink in for this little metaphor about just rewarding yourself as almost like a reset where you can recharge your batteries. So that way it just helps you stay more consistent. Because remember, our job here is just to help you with tools to have more discipline on your health and fitness journey. And these lists of 7, I really hope that they resonate with you. I really hope that you got some value from today's episode. And remember, it doesn't have to be hard. Okay, just keep that in mind. The list of 7 that we just went over, these are going to be the keys to help you master your health and fitness goals, but stay consistent long term, right? So that way you don't fall off track, you're able to reach your goals and continue progressing to become the best version of yourself. So I really hope that you guys got some value from today's episode. If you did, give this video a thumbs up. Leave a comment down below, right, with some feedback, letting me know your biggest takeaway. And if you have not yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, I would greatly, greatly appreciate it if you did. As always, guys, this has been Coach Joe with Heartletics.com, and I'll talk to you in the next episode. Peace out, Girl Scouts.